if you let me finish.
Those two things.
No, they collapsed because mortgage brokers in America sold some subprime mortgages to people that couldn't afford to pay them back. Some of them were even called ninja mortgages. No income, no job, no assets. When the American housing market started to crash, then this whole pack of cards, because all those ninja mortgages were securitized, which spread the contamination.
No one forced HBOS to buy them.
Well, yeah, but that's still. I'm just dealing with the thing. This is all Gordon Brown's fault. Combination of deregulation and the sub.
But what should Labour have given? Suppose your analysis is right. What should Labour have done differently?
Well, I think Gordon was always silly to talk about no return to boom and bust because he was talking.
But that's just a phrase.
I know, but I think one of the things.
No, it was a state of mind.
No. It was just
it's fundamentally important. This no return to boom and bust. Okay. It was a state of mind. He believed that this was the 1,000-year right.
He really could repeal the business cycle.
Yeah.
So let me bring James in. Let me bring our guest in because he has been patient.
All right.
We don't have him every week. We have you every week. So quiet. James. Is Gordon Brown the man to put us back on track?
I think, based on the current performance and how he's dealt with some of the issues, I think, in the last 12 months, I think from a general perception, of people in the business community, I don't think he's inspiring a lot of confidence at the moment.
So when you go around the business community, I know you meet investors all the time and bankers too, they used to think quite highly of Gordon Brown. They don't anymore, you're saying?
I think when Gordon was working with Tony Blair and I think as Chancellor, I think he demonstrated a far better control of what he was doing. I think since Prime Minister, I think his performance, I don't think it's been that impressive.
Yeah, but George Osborne struggled last night on Newsnight to say anything bad about short sellers, speculators driving down the value of banks. At the same time, the Republicans in the US have actually, stopped it.
And your Prime Minister wouldn't stop it until the Republicans had done it in America.
But at least he did something. George, are you really suggesting we hand over the economy to George Osborne, nice as he is?
Let me ask you this, Michael. Are voters now blaming Gordon Brown? Rightly or wrongly, are they now blaming him?
Yes, although I think probably for the wrong reasons. I mean, I've just been watching Newsnight, and on Newsnight, people's view is not only that the economy is really horrid at the moment, but it's going to be even worse in a year's time.
Oh, they're probably right.
So that's but that's a massively negative point of view, and therefore politically, that's very, very significant. I think a lot of people are still saying what James said a moment ago, that he was a good Chancellor and became a bad Prime Minister. I don't think the Tories have yet taken the trick of saying, look, this fellow was Jekyll and Hyde. 5 years, quite a good Chancellor. 5 years, a rather bad Chancellor. So that is still a trick to be taken, I think.
Let me tell you where the political consequences, I think, Vince, will be huge. And it's a country you know a lot about. It's Scotland. Alex Salmond is spitting tax today because he wouldn't stop the short. Gordon Brown would not stop the short selling when it mattered. He waited on the Americans. It was too late. This is the demise of Scotland's second biggest company. Second biggest company, the Bank of Scotland. The Glenrothes Bank by-election is just round the corner. I put it to you, the Nats will sweep it now.
Well, it's going to be more competitive than Glasgow. But anyway, forgetting the Scottish thing, I mean, Alex Salmond wasn't the only person who was spitting tax about short selling. I mean, my colleagues and I were asking for something to be done about this several days before.
Gordon Brown's future may hang on the Glenrothes by-election. Yeah, that's what makes it significant.
I think Gordon Brown is finished, regardless of what happens to the Glenrothes thing. But, yeah, I mean, in terms of his own party and
you didn't say that to me 48 hours ago, the
yes,
Lib Dem
but I mean,
conference.
Things are moving very rapidly.
Really, you've changed your mind?
I mean, I'm not familiar with what's happening inside the Labour Party.
When you say finish, he won't make it to the next election.
I mean, you've seen the poll that's out tonight about Labour Party activists.
54% against.
And it's very difficult to see.
You wanted to make another point.
Yes, I mean, I was trying to be non-tribal, actually. Gordon, the big criticism we've all made it the last few minutes, but actually the way they've handled it the last 24 hours, getting these banks together, was actually well done. He and Darling done the right thing, done it fairly quickly. And if they'd been handled the whole crisis
but I was giving it a more 12 months.
They've got away with this.
You can't churn.
You're going back to Northern Rock.
I'm saying it's not about 24 hours. It's about what's happened over the last, 6 to 9 months.
Now, and let's look beyond the politics, James, and tell me this: how do you judge the scale of this financial crisis?
I think it's catastrophic. I mean, certainly in my business experience, when we're in various investor meetings and we're talking about investing money, you know, you would make comments like, actually, you know, I'm sure Lehman's is fine because, of course, they would never go bust, you know, so it must be okay. So the number of times within the business community you hear that phrase, well, if they went bust, it would all go wrong. Well, AIG, you know, Lehman Brothers, HBOS, Merrill Lynch. I mean, who would have thought, you know, in a space of months that these institutions would just disappear?
And as an investor, I suspect you're finding no one's going to lend money to you at the moment.
Well, can I tell you something? It's not about who would lend me money. The banks will not lend each other money. You know, if two banks will not, then, you know, where are we?
Let me try and see if you agree.